Hello and thank you for joining us on France 24. It's time for us to cast our collective eye on Africa. First up, the headlines. 2 Ghanaian nationals submit requests to the International Criminal Court calling for an investigation into months of xenophobic violence against migrants in South Africa. This as regional tensions continue to escalate over the issue. 20 people killed following an ADF attack on a mining site in the east of the DRC. This comes as the Islamic State-affiliated group steps up attacks in the region despite the rapid spread of the Ebola virus. And coconut trees, once a common sight on Ivory Coast coastlines, are slowly disappearing under renewed waves of deforestation and rapid urbanization, a development which threatens an entire sector and local ecosystem. Welcome to the program. After months of escalating regional tension, 2 Ghanaian nationals have submitted a petition to the International Criminal Court calling for an investigation into violent xenophobic attacks in South Africa. President Cyril Ramaphosa has yet to comment on the petition. Meanwhile, Ghana's head of state, John Mahama, has doubled down on his calls to address the violence. Emily Boyle explains.
South Africa has been rocked by weeks of protest and unrest targeting immigrants who are accused of taking jobs and resources. More than 160,000 foreign nationals have left the country and several have died in the last 2 months as local groups target undocumented migrants.
A group of young men started to beat me on my head and my back with metal bars. My back hurt so much that every time I cough, the pain is unbearable.
Now, 2 Ghanaian nationals have asked the International Criminal Court to investigate the xenophobic violence, arguing that the repeated attacks could amount to crimes against humanity. The petition alleges widespread attacks against African migrants between 2015 and 2026, including killings, assault and forced displacement. It also argues South African authorities failed to adequately prevent or prosecute the violence. On Thursday, Ghana's President John Mahama called on the African Union to address the violence.
We remain deeply concerned about the attacks. This undermines the very spirit of African solidarity and our collective efforts towards continental integration. Sweeping this matter under the carpet will not resolve its root causes.
A spokesperson for South Africa's Ministry of Foreign Affairs said the petition was opportunistic. Although President Ramaphosa has previously condemned the attacks, he has not yet commented on the ICC petition.
To South Africa now, where the Western Cape High Court has ruled in favor of the President Cyril Ramaphosa, temporarily suspending impeachment proceedings against him. The South African president is challenging the findings of an independent panel into his conduct following the 2020 burglary at his Falafala game farm. The panel found there may be a case against him over alleged misconduct and a possible conflict of interest. While the ruling puts part of the process on hold, it does not stop the impeachment committee from doing other preparatory work in the meantime. Our correspondent Eunice Messon reports.
In a brief 2-minute judgment, President Cyril Ramaphosa's interdict to suspend the impeachment process against him was granted. This suspension is only temporary, while the president will now go on to challenge a panel report that set this whole impeachment process into motion. The panel report, remember in the beginning of the year, suggested that the president, that there is enough evidence for the president to be investigated for possible misconduct following the theft at his Pala game farm in Limpopo, where about $600,000 were stolen, in foreign currency was stolen. This could be a political win for the ANC, as the president would not soon be in front of the impeachment process, where he will have to answer questions about the theft that took place. It will now come down to the court case in September, where he challenges the report, and after that, the impeachment process could be underway again.
In the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, local authorities of Ituri province are reporting some 20 people killed following an attack by the jihadist group ADF. According to local reports, the men attacked the Kikundo mining site located near the border between North Kivu and Ituri on Wednesday. This militia, affiliated with the Islamic State, is stepping up its violence even as the Ebola outbreak spreads in the region. Emmett Livingston has more.
The Allied Democratic Forces group has committed another attack after weeks of increasing violence. The death toll is provisional, but civil society figures say the militia has killed around 20 people in the territories of Mambasa in Ituri province and in Beni in North Kivu province in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. The latest attack occurred on Wednesday, and although the details remain hazy, informal gold miners in the region appear to be the main victims. The ADF is affiliated to the Islamic State group, and it's one of the most violent militias in Congo. It regularly massacres civilians with machetes, for example. Locals are desperate for a solution.
Since the attack on the 22nd of July, people have been fleeing the fields and their villages. The enemy has swept into the fields where people were working. The death toll is rising every instant. Yesterday we had 18 bodies. Today the death toll stands at 21. The enemy is finishing off its victims with bladed weapons. The government must help us. We will not stand by and weep while this government is supposed to be keeping us safe. These attacks are causing trauma, unemployment, and the abandonment of communities.
The attack is just the latest in a wave of violence committed by the ADF in eastern Congo. In mid-June, the group also killed about 20 people in separate attacks in Beni territory in North Kivu. Experts say that the ADF deliberately targets civilians as a form of revenge against military operations conducted by Congolese and Ugandan forces. To top it off, many of the attacks are also happening in areas where Ebola is spreading.
For decades, coconut trees have been a staple and a natural protector of Ivory Coast's coastline, providing income for thousands of families while preventing coastal erosion. But today, urbanization and deforestation are causing coconut plantations to gradually disappear, threatening an entire industry and ecosystem. Our correspondents in Ivory Coast sent us this report.
Coconut palms once covered much of the coastal town of Jacquesville. Today, the plantations are gradually being replaced by houses. As production declines, growers say their livelihoods are increasingly under threat.
Today, the whole Aberby area, after the bridge up to Jacquesville, passing through Njem towards Vridi, the whole area is being urbanized.
The local value chain is feeling the brunt of the decline. Producers of coconut oil, soap, handicrafts and charcoal are struggling to secure enough raw material.
We can't produce enough coconut charcoal anymore. The orders are there, but we can't fill them because there aren't enough coconuts anymore.
Beyond its economic value, coconut palms protect the coastline. Its fibers are used to make nets that help prevent erosion.
Every time it rained, the soil would slide down the side of the hill and end up in the lagoon. We fixed it with geotextile nets.
Down the coast in Grand Lahou, coconut palms are key in protecting the coastline. The Waka Coastal Protection Project is using trees and coconut fiber nets to reduce erosion.
Here we have the embankment where the coconut nets were installed. The coconut plantations, thanks to their roots, help hold the soil in place and stabilize it. Nearly 846 households were under threat. Today, thanks to these works, they can now sleep in peace.
Residents have watched the sea swallow part of their village. Many had to rebuild their homes several times.
We were all asleep when we heard the house lean to one side. My little brother came to say that the house was collapsing. I got out and the sea was already at the foot of the house.
As coconut plantations disappear, the coconut palm remains both an economic lifeline for many and a natural defense against coastal erosion.
Now for a change of pace, let's talk sports. There's just 100 days to go until Dakar 2026, the first Olympic event ever hosted on the African continent. As the countdown accelerates, organizers are insisting preparations for the Youth Olympics are on track. They gave a progress report at a press conference in the Senegalese capital on Thursday. Let's have a listen.
We have had all the venues approved by the International Federation, and we have conducted test events. In the coming weeks, we will carry out the final testing of both the sporting events and the logistics at all venues, particularly at the Diamniadio venues and the Olympic swimming pool.
And finally, even though the Men's World Cup has barely ended, summer's football fever is not over yet, as the Women's Africa Cup of Nations finally kicks off in Morocco on Sunday after a 4-month delay. 16 nations will compete not only for continental bragging rights, but also qualifications for the upcoming Women's World Cup and a record $2 million first prize. 10-time title holders and defending champions Nigeria will look to defend the crown, while Ghana, Zambia and Morocco also stand among the pre-tournament favorites. Originally slated to take place from the 17th of March to the 3rd of April, the Confederation of African Football announced the tournament would be postponed just 12 days before the initial kickoff due to, quote, unforeseen circumstances. And that's all from us for the moment. Stay tuned to France 24. We'll continue to bring you the latest news from around the world.